What's up, guys? It is Ray here and Hugen. We are the Unscripted Real Artists, and today first of all, we're finally back. Did you miss us? I'm sure you did. However, today we are here to talk about the one, the only, who, Hugen?
Brandon motherfucking Lee. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what prompted this conversation was us hopping on Pluto TV and seeing that The
Yep.
Crow was on. Okay? A
Yep.
cult classic. And the star of whom is who? Brandon Lee. It was unfortunately his last film, but it
Right.
was a huge hit when it came out.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So let's talk
So
about it.
before we start, Pluto TV is not sponsoring us. However, if you did not know about Pluto TV is a free app that has just about every film, every television show, whatever. From way back when, I saw something on one of their little cooking networks. They had Julia
Mm-hmm.
Childs on there. Okay?
They
And I
even
said,
have
oh,
like a
snap.
K-pop channel too, as well.
They have a lot of stuff on there. It's a wide variety, different channels from basically all across the world. Whatever film you want to watch. It ain't got no weird stuff, if that's what you're thinking. It ain't on there. However, all your fan fave anime shows like Sailor Moon, which Hyujin was watching the other day, from, like I said, Julia
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Child.
Naruto, and
Exactly.
fair warning, it is sub, at least to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
One Piece. What was the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Lupin the Third was on there too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, executives at Pluto TV, if you see this, sponsor us. You
Hello.
need us. Okay?
Hello. Hello.
Okay. Back to the regularly scheduled programming.
Exactly.
Brandon Lee.
So, what made us start talking about Brandon Lee? We were watching Hugen was watching The Crow. And I said, where are you watching this at? She told me about Pluto TV, right? And I said, huh? I never heard of Pluto TV. She told me about it. I downloaded it on my iPad and I was like, okay, let me get into it. I haven't seen The Crow in years. And as I'm watching The Crow, a thought occurred to me. I said, if Brandon Lee were still alive, he would have played a great Joker. And then the more I thought about it, we were talking about Brandon Lee and his career and certain roles he would have snagged from people. A lot of people would have been mad, but and this is my fave, okay? But Keanu Reeves in the whole entire John Wick series, he would not have been doing. At least that's what we both think.
Yeah. We said that it was a possibility that he may not have been doing the John Wick movies, and that
Mm-hmm.
he may not have a lot of the films that he was in may not have been he may not have ended up doing if Brandon Lee was still alive.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. Fun fact: I didn't know that he was actually a choreographer on The Crow. Brandon Lee was a choreographer
Right.
on a fight choreographer on the Crow. So like that could very well have been something that
Right.
he might have ended up doing for like a film like John Wick. You know, especially
Right.
considering that I'm sorry, I don't know the guy's last name, the director's last name, Chad, but he
Mm-hmm.
was literally Brandon Lee's stunt double for The Crow. So you
Mm-hmm.
can imagine
Mm-hmm.
like the infinite possibilities had he not unfortunately passed away on the set of The Crow.
Right.
You know.
Right. So for me, it is a very unfortunate situation that we did lose someone as special as he was. But one of the roles that
Mm.
I feel like a lot of people may not agree with me. However, it is my opinion. Certain elements and characteristics that
He would have
Heath
embodied
Ledger's
well.
Joker had, it it was like watching The Crow. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, did Heath Ledger watch The Crow and say, I'm inspired? Let me do this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're correct about
I
that.
was
Like
looking at
you're spot
I
on with
was I
that.
was
I see it.
I was looking at certain things, and there's certain ways that Brandon Lee delivered certain lines. Like when he was basically beating up the black dude in the alleyway situation
Mm-hmm.
in the Crow. Like it's certain ways that he delivers his lines, and how he carries himself and how he portrays his character. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then even with the face paint,
Yes.
it just gave me the Joker. And then learning that little fun fact that that was kind of inspo for the Joker's makeup. It just made sense. It made perfect sense. To be honest,
Yeah.
it made perfect sense. The wet dog look,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying,
Which,
and the wicked
funnily
face
enough,
paint.
I saw like on the trivia section on IMDb that apparently
Mm-hmm.
for that face makeup, they would put it on him like the night before and he would sleep in it so that it would look so like worn. Because otherwise it would look
Yeah,
really pristine and nice and stuff and pretty, which
neat. Yeah, yeah.
exactly wouldn't really serve the purpose of, it wouldn't really
Which
look
makes
right
sense.
for the character. So,
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah.
So, so me and Hugin were discussing, uh, what roles he may have had. Like, yeah, there's a huge age difference between him and Keanu Reeves, him and Heath Ledger, Um,
Well,
but
actually,
there are a
not
lot
that
of
much
roles
between him and
that,
Keanu Reeves, though. But yeah,
yeah, not
they're about
really.
the same age. It's like a 1 year age difference between him and Keanu Reeves. So they're about the same age, or they
Okay,
would
so
have been about the
then,
same age.
yes,
Yeah.
okay, so then, what I said yesterday when I was talking about him snagging all the roles and it being like friendly competition, it definitely would have been on.
Right.
It definitely would have been on.
And I feel like with if he had not passed away on the Crow, if he hadn't died, I feel like because the Crow was apparently like a really big success at the time, he would have been the it guy,
Oh
like kind of
yeah.
like
Oh
how
yeah.
every like major actor had their like it boy
The
time where they
era.
were like the guy
Yeah.
that was like in
The It
everything.
Boy
He would
era.
have been
Yeah.
in everything, and I feel like that
Yeah.
would have like created this environment, like how now presently we're going against like the stereotypical Asian roles and all that kind of stuff, and Asian males being like the heartthrobs and that kind of stuff, and not the sidekick.
Yeah.
I feel like this
Mhm.
moment that is currently happening in the film industry with those of Asian descent would have happened a lot
Mhm.
earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have happened a lot earlier because he seemed
Yeah.
to be very much somebody who was championing for his own people and own demographic, you know?
Yeah.
So
I
I
agree.
feel like, and that would,
I
and
agree.
if he were the it guy, that would kind of like probably encourage people,
Open doors.
encourage exactly opening the doors for Asian actors to come
Mhm.
into Hollywood because it'll be kind of
Right.
like, okay, we're hiring this guy to play XYZ role. Let's
Mhm.
we got to bring in more people then, you know?
Facts. Yeah.
So,
I agree. I feel like so much of his dad impacted him. So it's like not even living up to the expectation of taking the torch, but he still left an impact and he did um help other Asians, Asian Americans, South Asians, whatever, all the Asians, you know what I'm saying, kind of find their way in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even what he did in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? You gotta applaud him because who else would have? But we would have really wanted to see some regular, degular white dude or somebody just with no acting skills at all.
No.
Really playing that
I
character.
think
No.
for a fact he solidified his place as the one and only person to play Eric Draven
Hello.
because like
Hello.
nobody I honestly can't see anybody else doing it. And it's not because of the fact that
Me either.
he's no longer here, but he did such a good job that it's like I can't see anybody else playing him.
Right. He bodied that role.
Hello.
It was
Bodied with
he
a capital
made it
B.
known that it was right. He made it known that it was meant for him. This character is me. I am the character.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With that kind of energy. So, I think he did really well. Like you can see how much of his impact has spread on to others and impacted their lives, like Louis Tan, like uh so many of the Asian, the older 80s babies, late 80s babies, you know, in that window that watched that movie. Like there have been a plethora of Asian actors that bring up Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee, you know, Jet Li, all of Jackie Chan. You know, we hear
Mm-hmm.
about those, you know, iconic legends, you know what I'm saying, and what they've done for their community. But if it weren't for Bruce Lee, there would be no Brandon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So legendary, iconic.
Funny part about it though is like apparently again, IMDb trivia page.
Right.
Apparently they had the one I think it was a producer or something, somebody on the working on the Crow that had some misgivings about him playing the role
Mm-hmm.
because I don't
Mm-hmm.
know because they had it was I don't know if it was necessarily because of he was Asian, but they didn't quite think that he was like the right fit. But then they saw him in the costume and sang the lines from the comic, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, this is the guy." And it's just like it's kind of funny to me how like you can have somebody have this impression of him or of anyone really,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this works." Like you can't
I mean,
make
it's
the
all
jump to those
about
conclusions, like let the person's work speak for
right.
themselves.
It's right, but sometimes people need a little bit of conviction because not everybody is going to believe in your talent and in your ability to wow the
Right.
crowd or
But
move them in
like
some way,
that's
shape,
it's
form, or
kind of
fashion.
like that's what auditions are for. Auditions are for me
Yeah,
as
but
an
some people
actor to
don't even believe
convince
that
you
you're
that I'm, you know.
right. Yeah, but some people just don't believe. Some people just don't believe. That's like literally like you go into a room full of actors or full of directors and whatever, or it's a casting call. You go in and they're like, okay, play this character, and you knock people's socks off, and the director see you, and they're like, we could have used, we could have got Suzanne from the third floor to play this character because I don't think she could play it. She's too brown. You know what I'm saying? Because they will pull that card.
Your
You know what I'm
delivery of
saying?
that
They
is
will
just
pull that card.
comical to me because it's just like you are correct in that because it's just like we see it all the time. Like not to veer from the topic, but it's still kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
adjacent to the topic. It's just
No,
crazy to me
no
how, like,
facts.
in a lot of cases, you have somebody cast for a role that was meant for,
Mm-hmm.
say, a specific demographic, but they choose someone else
Mm-hmm.
to play that character. Y'all know what we
Mm-hmm.
talking about, okay?
And
I'm
I
looking
think
at you,
that's
Ghost in
that's
the
that's
Shell.
what I feel like. That's what happened in that case. It's not more so, oh, I don't believe that he can play the role. It's all about who that person's father is and them not wanting them to get that role because you know who this person is. They did the audition, they got the part. Just because you don't believe in that person's ability to wow the crowd doesn't mean that they can't do a bang up job. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And he did. You had to see him in costume in order for you to believe him
Like,
and recite lines.
that's
You
like
ain't believe that that man
that's what
could
it
do
takes.
anything.
That's what it
Right.
takes. I bet you if Johnny Come
Right.
Lately from around the block came in just plain clothes and recited a few lines for you, you'd been like, "Oh yeah, cool, awesome." It would have been the worst thing ever. Probably could have been
Yeah.
like the Weeknd's acting in that damn show that's new out now. Just bland,
Mm-mm.
just
Mm-mm. How are you? We're not even going to get into that anyway, because you know I could go on and on. We're not going to get into that
that is a
because that
topic for
was
another day.
terrible. Okay? Hello. So, like, yeah, you have casting directors, you have directors that will tell you straight to your face, you don't fit the category for this character. And in the description, the writers can say that they are looking for, or casting directors go to writers and say, what do you want this person to look like? What are they supposed to look like?
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be a short black female.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to go and get a short Spanish female? Yes, she could be Afro Latino. However, we're asking for a specific person
Mm-hmm.
for a particular reason. There's a reason behind everything. Not saying that the Afro Latina woman can't do what
Can't
she
body
knows
the
how to
role,
do, but when
right?
you're specifying for a specific person, if this is supposed to be like, I don't know, I don't know what kind of film. I'm not gonna make something up, but if this is supposed to be a freaking musical, and I'm looking to talk about, I don't know why this popped in my head, but slavery, for instance. Yes, Afro Latinas can relate and whatever because they was in the same boat with us. However, if this is supposed to be a whole ship full of just black folks, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all black folks come from all walks of life and whatever, whatever. But if we're looking for like, you know,
Biggity biggity
you know what
black
I'm
folk,
saying? I'm not gonna.
you know.
Yeah, if we're looking for that, that's what the person who started or wrote this story said that they wanted. You
Right.
can't just go out there and just get somebody else. That's just like me asking for Keanu Reeves and they giving me uh uh what's his name? Uh um Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's not who I asked for.
Right. Right.
I said Keanu Reeves, not Chuck Norris. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When it comes to certain, it just goes back to even with the casting of Little Mermaid. They already knew who they wanted to play Ariel. I don't know why y'all thought that y'all was gonna win that man over. That man heard Holly sing and he said, I want her. Thank you.
Right.
Yes,
Not to
everybody
mention,
around the world can audition. Everybody around the world can audition. But the girl's voice sounds like a freaking Disney princess. I want her to on the tracks too.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody else.
Right. Plus,
I'm sorry, I love Hillary. I love Hillary Duff, but I wouldn't want her to play Ariel. She
not
ain't
to
got the
mention,
range.
not to mention that all of what we're talking about, right? The character of Eric Draven, Ariel,
Mm-hmm.
race is not
Yeah,
is not really integral to their stories, right?
exactly.
For example, Miles Morales. You can't cast a non-black or non-Afro Latino person to play Miles because there's a lot of stuff
Because
that
let's be for real.
plays into it from a racial standpoint.
Let's be
Same
for
thing
real.
with like Static Shock. You can't cast somebody that's not non-black or has some level of blackness that can experience
Exactly.
blackness in the way that
Exactly.
contextually from the story. You can't cast
Right.
not to be colorist, but you cannot
Mm-hmm.
cast a light-skinned black person as Virgil Hawkins
Right.
because they will experience racism differently than someone
They
who is
will.
darker skinned. That's just a
Yep.
fact. That is something that has been in play from his a historical standpoint, okay? Because
Yep.
of the light skinned slaves, the mixed slaves versus dark skinned slaves. It's a thing that stems all the way back to slavery. So you cannot tell me
Yep.
that, oh, it's just the same thing. It's
It's
not.
not.
It's really not. It's really not. And
It's
this is
really
coming from
not.
somebody who is not what a lot of people consider to be a black looking person. Okay? I
Mm-hmm.
recognize that I would experience that differently, whether it be
Yeah.
discrimination or straight up racism or prejudice. I would
Yeah.
experience that differently
Yeah.
than say Ray.
Yeah.
So,
And
you
there's a
know,
story time to that also, from my perspective of my black experience. But again, like she said, not everybody is going to experience that. Not everybody is going to understand that. They're just coming from a perspective of it's our money and we paying to see blah blah blah. Our kids deserve to see people that look like us. We've been seeing people that look like y'all, okay, for a very long time. We, okay, would like to be represented on TV, as well as Asians in everybody else's culture. Like, we want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want people that actually look like us.
we want diversity, man. Not just
We want, we,
in race and culture, because there's so many beautiful varieties of
there's
cultures
so many
and
beautiful
stuff
people out
out
there.
there. Expose
Exactly.
us. Let's not live in a bubble,
Exactly.
okay? It's boring. It's boring. It's like
It
eating
is.
boiled food, okay? It's boring.
Nobody wants bland, okay? We
We
want all
need
the
diversity
flavors,
in,
the
in, in
curries.
cultures, and we need diversity in stories. Please, can we stop rehashing the same story over and over and over again? Stop it with the reboots. Stop it with the remakes. Please, because
Yeah.
full circle moment, they were
So,
trying to do a reboot, a remake of The Crow back in 2018 with Jason Momoa. Nothing against Jason Momoa. We love Jason Momoa. However, well, the people love Jason Momoa. However,
I mean, I don't have nothing against the man. However,
I don't. We don't have anything
no,
against
thank
him.
you.
But again, in my mind, I cannot picture big ass Jason Momoa as the Crow.
Right.
He's freaking huge,
Right.
dude. I'm just saying, it's a fact. He's huge. He's big. He looks like he's so big. He looks like he's his bodyguard's bodyguard. Okay, that's how big this man is. Like just vertically and horizontally. Like
That man is
I just can't
crazy
picture.
big, though.
I just can't picture him being the Crow. And thankfully, because of the backlash about it, like have some respect for Brandon Lee and so on and so forth, they didn't do it. Thank God, because Lord knows
Yeah.
that most often than not, when they do a remake, it ends up being butt booty garbage, like straight bus
No facts.
just complete trash. Very rarely, I don't think if ever, there's been a remake that was actually good. There may be like one or two, but for the most part, remakes tend to be garbage.
That's honestly your opinion again. However, there are a lot of remakes that I watch. I select what remake I want to watch depending on the casting. I always look at the casting. Who's going to play said role? Like they said with the Little Mermaid, because it's a live action. People love that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They love it. Lion King. It's a live action remake.
It's. I have a lot of things to say
I
about that,
enjoyed
but
it.
I'm gonna shut up about that. That could be
I
another
enjoyed
video.
it. I enjoyed it because my whole thing is how do you want lions to act? They're lions.
I think.
But anyway, we're not gonna get on it. We're not gonna get on it. We're not gonna get on it because I already know the comments is gonna be loco, and I don't have time for them because I will block you. But anyway, don't ever not believe in people's talents and abilities. Even if people do say that we don't believe in you and blah blah blah, you got to believe in yourself. Because sometimes you can't convince somebody, you can't convict somebody, or any of that. You can't make people believe in you. You just got to show up and prove that you were made for that role, whatever
Right.
position you in, whether it's behind the camera, in front of the camera, or just doing whatever occupation you love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If people don't believe in you, just prove them wrong.
I
It's not
mean,
going to be that hard, especially if you know what you're doing.
yeah, you got to believe in yourself first and foremost, like you
Hello.
said, and let your
That's
talent
it.
speak for itself. Cause we ain't
That's
out
it,
here
man.
desperate for no handout or for nobody to see
Hello.
us. We ain't that desperate,
Hello.
but you gonna
Hello.
see us. You gonna see this talent,
Period. Period.
and you ain't got to believe it, but
But
you will
anyway,
become a believer. Okay.
hello.
Period.
Period. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your post notifications. And don't forget to follow your girls on our social media platforms. That will be linked down in the description box below. We will see you guys in the next video. Peace.